Hello, you're listening to Sisters Assembled, a Marvel Theory podcast. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Katie. And we're two sisters who spend way too much time talking and thinking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now we want to share our thoughts with you.
Every week, we're breaking down a new topic relating to the MCU, from reactions to the Disney Plus shows and the movies, to deep dives on characters and important concepts, plus news and a lot of theories. All right, listeners, you may have noticed something a little bit different in our intro today. Beside it being our second birthday, which we are very, very excited about. Happy birthday to us. We've been doing this for 2 whole years. That means Katie and I have managed not to kill each other for 2 years. We got a little close off mic a few times, but here we are, 2 years in, and we're very excited. Happy birthday to us. But this birthday is also special because we're changing our name. We are no longer Let's Talk Marvel Fan Theories. We are now Sisters Assembled, a Marvel Theory podcast. Let me give you the DL on what this means. We're not going anywhere. We're staying. I can't get rid of Caitlin. Sorry, listeners. But we're both gonna stay. And we're gonna have the same style show. It's gonna be the two of us for the majority of the time, talking all things reactions, predictions, and news, and theories, and all the things you love about the show. But with one tiny little tweak. We are now firmly going to be a weekly show, which we are very, very excited about. No more going bi-weekly in between Marvel TV shows and movies. We are going to be coming at you with new content every single week, finding fun little tidbits to talk about in the MCU, all kinds of research, all kinds of character analysis, replays, you name it. We're coming at you every week, and we are so excited about these updates.
So first I need to address the fighting words that are being passed around here. But no, we are so excited to be celebrating our birthday with you guys and also to be making this brand new announcement. We were kind of sitting here and we were realizing as time went on that, we wanted to be more us than anything. And I think Taylor and I both could agree that the best way to be authentically us is, for one, we're sitting here being two sisters talking about Marvel all the time, and you wouldn't always know it. So we wanted to kind of incorporate all that into who we are and bring it to the front table when you first meet us. So that's kind of how, we assembled, if you will. Haha. Sorry, that was terrible.
So cheesy.
But it really was, but it went really well. So at the end of the day, I'm giving it to myself. But truly, we're really excited. I have some weird theories about birthdays and how we're all technically a year older than we really are. So technically, we're entering our 3rd year of being a podcast, even though we're theoretically only turning 2. Anyway, we are entering these terrible 2s, and we figured this would be a really good time to kind of just, change, go through a big life change. So yeah, we are really excited. We think it reflects us as a podcast a little bit better, but nothing's really going to change. Like, we are still us. Just start looking for us under Sisters Assembled.
Yeah. And like Katie said, we are very, very excited about all of this. We're going to keep all the things that we love and we hope you guys love about the show, and just turn up on the dial on some of the things that we think could make it better. So we're very excited to enter year 3. Definitely want to hear from you all how you feel about the changes, and hopefully you're excited to have us in your ears every week instead of every other week. I know we're really excited to be coming at you with more content than we have in the past. Now, as is tradition, and by tradition I mean we did this last year, we are going to talk about our favorite
when
moments.
we turned 1.
Yes. But next year, when we do it for the 3rd time, come June 1st, I can say without a caveat because it will be an established tradition. Anyway, we are going to be talking about our favorite moments from year 2 and giving a little bit of a preview of what we think are going to be the best moments from year 3, what we're most excited about, topics we're excited to cover. It's going to be a fun one. I'm very excited to talk about it. Katie, kick us off.
It's hard because I don't remember things. But when you were talking to me about what we were going to cover and you were like, yeah, we're going to talk about some of the best moments. And there are things that happen obviously off, recordings and everything else that is just naturally happen as you sit here as two sisters trying to record something together. But I have to say one that I was partially definitely captured in one of our episodes, but I also know was aggressively cut out, was us trying to figure out the multiverse and how all of it fits together. Mainly because this has plagued us for like ever, but also like I just remember that entire conversation because neither of us understood what the other was saying half the time. So like I'd explain something and you just go off on a completely other thing. And I was like, yeah, but like that's not what I meant. And like we didn't know what was happening. And I think that just is the embodiment of understanding the multiverse in general. We ended up obviously being relatively correct because we watched Ant-Man and, you know, the Sacred Circle and all that crap that we came up with. But yeah, that sticks out because there was a lot of that had to get cut out just because it was like, what is happening? But I do also have to say, which we actually just referenced this, was when you could not, for the life of you, figure out which Spider-Man you wanted to talk about. And you said I think you were trying to say Far From Home, and every time you tried to go for that one.
No, I think I was trying to say Homecoming, but I kept saying Far From Home. Now you're doing it. No one knows.
Well, and then you were like, and in No Way Home, and I was like, we're still not talking about that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And that was like a 10-minute, like, oh my gosh, that was so bad. But that was still one of my favorites.
Well, speaking of moments where we don't listen to each other and also say the wrong thing, this is a combo of both. And one of my favorite moments that also kind of gave me a heart attack in my editing suite, and by my editing suite, I mean on my couch, is Caitlin and I were having a conversation. I was trying to say Secret Invasion. And I did, in fact, say Secret Invasion, and that was what I wanted to talk about. I think it was in relation to the Young Avengers. And Caitlin did not hear me. She just was like, yes, Secret Wars, let's go. So we had this whole 15-minute conversation about Secret Wars, and I just went along with it. I didn't even occur to me that that was not what I was trying to say. So anyway, fast forward, I get onto my couch to edit the episode, and I'm talking about Secret Invasion, and Katie's out here talking about Secret Wars, and I'm texting her, and I'm like, I don't even know how to fix this, so I just left it in. So I don't know if anybody caught that in our Young Avengers episode, but we were talking 2 different languages on that one.
Yeah, that's not the first nor the last. I'm sure that will happen, because I'm pretty sure we've done it before. Oh, because I do it all the time with the Falcon and Winter Soldier and Captain America the Winter Soldier. I do that all the time with that. And
oh, yeah, you do.
Always have to catch me for that because I'm always like, that's not what I'm trying to say. But like, then he becomes Captain America anyway. So it's like Captain America the Winter Soldier Part 2. It's debatable.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what they changed the episode to, the name to at the end anyway, the last episode?
I feel like it is. It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they did because then I was even more thrown off.
Yeah, because it was like once he was finally took on the mantle.
Yeah. I was like, why would you do that? Well, anyway, we've had a couple other good ones. I know one for me that happened fully off recording, sort of. Well, it did, but it was still... So back when Wakanda Forever came out, which feels like now forever ago, because it was like literally 6 months.
Ew.
That's kind of crazy. My grandmother had just gotten surgery on her shoulder, so I was staying with her. And she lives in like a little bit of an older little ranch home. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to go record with Taylor. Like, just stay. Like, she just got surgery. Like, it really wasn't like a big deal. But this woman walked back and forth in the hallway outside my door. And all I heard was creak, 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 creak. As she did it, I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, I was like, just get out of here. But I had to laugh because the whole time I'm like staring at the recording as I can hear her. But like, I have this problem all the time. I used to live with my parents up until about a month and a half ago. And I swear every time I tried to record, they'd be like, time to go get a shower. And the shower's right up against the wall where she is. And I was like, I can never just record in peace. So it's been a hectic year.
It has been, but I am happy to say, as the resident editor, Caitlin's sound quality since the move has been much improved, and I am very thrilled on my side because she no longer sounds like she's underwater when I have to remove the sound of one of my parents showering from the background.
Yeah, that was bad. And I apologize for the past year, pretty much every audio. I kid you not, there's a 10-minute section where you can just tell they started the shower and they ended the shower. And every time I just stop and mid-sentence, if I was talking, I'd be like, Dad just got in the shower. I was like, come on.
Anyway, so those are some good moments, some not so good moments, but some notable moments from season 2, or year 2 season 2, whatever, same diff. Now, year 3, we have a lot coming out, not as much as in previous years. Marvel's slowing down the content train a little bit. We're not drinking from a fire hose like we have been the past 2 years. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like this pace. I'm good with it. But that means there's a lot more room for us to kind of play around and do some interesting things with the show. So what are you most excited for year 3, Katie?
Well, pertaining to content that Marvel's going to come out, I cannot wait for us to discuss Loki season 2. I just know after, 1, my feelings already just about Loki season 1, but 2, the discrepancy you and I feel towards a lot of that show. I'm very intrigued to get to the point where we cover it, because I actually, and I say this in a lot of the episodes, but I'm always shocked when Taylor and I are very much on the same page, just because I feel like any other time when we're talking about something, we don't agree with it, but like we could talk about it, kind of, duel it out. And then when it comes to Marvel stuff, half the time we're like, oh yeah, we like weirdly settled on the same solution. Like we agree on that. Loki's like one of those that we aren't gonna. And I am excited because I think that always leads to a really interesting conversation when you have 2 very different points of views. And it's different because it doesn't happen as often for us. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be fun. It'll be 7 episodes of you and I going toe to toe, which to your point, we did a little at the beginning because we started with Loki, For me, it's a nostalgic thing because here we are. We started, that was our first ever episode, was Loki predictions. Now 2 years later, here we are doing Loki episode 2, in a few months, or season 2 in a few months. And it's going to be nostalgic in that sense because that's the first thing we ever did. And those first few episodes are a little rough, but they let us cut our teeth and, we wouldn't be here if we didn't make those first few episodes. But to your point, like, I don't think since Loki, we've really gone toe to toe nearly as much as we did in those first few episodes. Partially, I think we didn't know how to, like, converse with one another with a microphone. So, like, that may have played into it. But also, as we got towards the end of the show, we were feeling very differently about the show. I mean, I didn't love the ending. I thought the first few episodes were great. We've all talked about this, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into it. But I definitely don't feel the vehement hatred that you do towards the show.
I don't have vehement hatred.
I said vehement, but you said behemoth. It's another, we're not really listening to one another.
Well, first off, my speech impediment cannot always keep up with everything. So whatever you said. But there's not full hatred, but it's definitely not my fave. It started off strong and it fell apart. And one of my favorite characters from very early on, now he's just somebody that I used to know.
Don't ever do that on a mic again, please.
It was so good, I really had to. But truly, like, I just don't feel like I recognize my Loki anymore. And he's not really the Loki that, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to cover that. And to your point, some of that was because, well, we currently live together because it was over COVID. And I think there were times, and don't get me wrong, listeners, there are plenty of times we get on these calls, have a full-fledged fight, and then we're like, anyway, let's just freaking record and get this over with. And it's a great episode.
Yeah, those are the best ones. So if you ever hear us like in a great flow, 95% of the time, we had just finished screaming at one another before we hit record.
Yeah, but I will say at the very beginning, especially when we were sitting like a foot and a half apart from each other in the same room, there were many a times I literally just would kind of look at Taylor and my brain would just be like, I want to hit her. Like, I just would get so fed up because I'd be like, first off, stop cutting me off. Second, like... And so hopefully season 2 is not going to be nearly as bad because I think we've grown a lot in the 2 years that we've been doing this. And we've gone through a lot of different life transitions that we've had to work through and make the best out of as we're in weird positions and have to still record during them. But yeah, I think it'll be funny to kind of be able to go back to that time like 2.5 years later and have a much different experience. Like, people will listen to Loki season 1 and then go into season 2 and be like, what the heck happened? This podcast, like, completely changed.
Including the name.
Yeah.
Taking it all the way back to the beginning. Yeah, no, I definitely think that will be a fun one. I'm super excited about that. I think for me, I'm not going to focus on like a Marvel content piece that I'm excited about, partially because I'm not as thrilled about the back half of the year. I think Loki will be fun, but I'm not a huge Captain Marvel fan, so even though the Marvels I think is going to be interesting and I'm definitely getting more excited for it as we see more footage, it's not what I would say is like my favorite.
Well, just think though, we have January through May of 2024.
Right, but I honestly don't even know what's coming out because they don't know what's coming out, so it's kind of hard to say like definitively like this is what it's going to be because there's a whole list of shows that were pushed off of this year into some unknown date for next year. So I think what I'm most excited about for year 3 is just experimenting with different types of episodes, different topics, different formats. I think going into the weekly episodes for us gives us a lot more freedom than just only going weekly when we're reacting to a specific episode and having to, talk about one specific property at a time. I think having the weekly episodes and the weeks in between where, eventually we're going to run out of replays or we're going to add things in between replays and things like that, where we can try different things and, you guys are going to have the chance to tell us, like, we like these types of episodes, we don't like those types of episodes. So I'm really excited to experiment a little bit more in year 3 than I think we have in past years and try some new things, see what we like, see what you guys like, and I think it's going to be a really fun, hopefully iterative conversational process between us and you all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great year of experimentation. I think, like I said at the beginning of the show, we are entering the terrible twos. We will be chaotic. And that's a good thing because I think, when you first start a podcast, you never know what's going to happen. And I think now 2 years into it, we've got a flow. And I think now it's time to mess with that flow a little bit and just see what else comes from it. So we're really excited for what's going to come in the next year. We're really excited to be Sisters Assembled. We're loving the new name. We are owning the new name and the new logo and everything else. Our new colors, everything's changed. But at the heart, we will still and always be Let's Talk Marvel Fan Theories.
Yep, and it's been a good couple years as Let's Talk Marvel Fan Theories. We're excited to bring you all along for the ride as Sisters Assembled and see where it takes us all. If you are excited as well with all of the changes that are coming to the show and you haven't yet subscribed, you can do so on your podcast platform of choice. Also, definitely check out the blog. You'll see all of the new changes are up there as well. So it's almost like it's a new site, which is super, super exciting. And you can also support us in all of our experimental endeavors by heading to our homepage where you can click on any of the affiliate links and purchase from those, where we get proceeds or a portion of the proceeds from those purchases, which help us make the show better.
If you want to follow us on socials, for those of you who might already be following us, we have already changed over our accounts, so no worries. You guys are still following us. Don't worry about that. But if you are trying to find us brand new, haven't been following us before, you can find us on Twitter at SisAssembledPod and Instagram at Sisters Assembled. You also can probably just search Sisters Assembled on either platform and find us fairly easily. But we are getting ready because it is Across the Spider-Verse weekend. We are moving right into that, believe it or not, slamming into that. So if you don't have your tickets, make sure you're getting them or make plans to make sure you can get to the movie ahead of time and get your tickets there because it seems like it's going to be a really good movie. It touches on, Earth 616, so that could be very exciting. And of course, our reactions episode will be coming at you this Sunday at the end of opening weekend. So everybody, if you were out, you get to listen to it right away. So make sure you guys go watch that movie because Marvel and Sony, maybe. Marvel and Sony just blew your mind. So let's talk about it.